Hello, welcome to another video. This class will be just a small session working balance. So we'll go through a few different things that you can do to hopefully get your balance better. Having balance can benefit us in so many ways. It's really good to stabilize and work the muscles that surround the ankle. So in particular, we are working on our balance in the lower body, not worrying about hand balances or anything like that. And it seems to be a point that a lot of people can find struggle in. There can be a few reasons for this. Simply, maybe it's something you've not practiced. Secondly, it could be maybe you've had an ankle injury and trying to then work the muscles that surround the ankle joint. Maybe you've not really been working your proprioception skills and you just find your ankle is all over the place. This can be the case, and it doesn't mean that over time this can't get better with practice. So yeah, it can be practice, could be down to having just recently had an injury, or maybe an older injury that you've just not looked too much into. And there could also just be maybe you're not layering the right stages to get your balance better. So first things first, I'm just going to go through a few poses, balances, whatever you would like to call them, to help get you on the road to your balancing. So first things first. The first thing we're going to work on is, let's see if you can see my feet, lovely. It's just working with peeling the heels off of the floor. So as you can see here, I'm just slightly taking my heels off of the floor, and then I'm going to slowly work with 5 counts to get my heels back to the ground. So we're thinking about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold just above the ground and press the heels back down. Now, if you feel that you want a bit more of support to begin with, maybe the ankles are really kind of shaky, then just take one hand to the wall and work with this drill. And then when you feel more confident, you can take your hand off of the ground. And you want to imagine that when you're coming back down to the ground, like you're squishing some grapes underneath your feet. So it's not really about the action of just slamming the heels to the floor, but really slowly lowering down. And we're slightly on top of our toes here, not super far forward that we're hinging from the hips, but we're engaging our glutes, thinking about slightly forward into our toes, and then we're lowering down with the heels. So working with things like that can be great. Other balance drills is taking one foot off of the floor. So to begin with, maybe for you, you might just have the one foot towards the ankle and you're just listening into your other foot. So notice where it starts to kind of peel off of the ground and come back down. Just hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you'd go to the other side, and you can slowly start to work your foot higher up the leg until you feel like you have more balance. And then that's the point that you would start taking your leg or your foot away from the body. So the further you take the leg away from the body, you start to leave yourself more vulnerable, and your supporting leg needs to work harder. So I would definitely recommend not going too far before your body is ready, because that's when you start to feel defeated. You're like, oh, I can't balance. And there's all these negative things that kind of go on in your mind. So start off small. Need support of the wall, take the support of the wall. And you will start to find that each time you practice this, it will become easier. You can start to kind of play. Maybe take the hands out to the side, can be good for some people when they're beginning. And then bring the hands in towards the center. play around with the body in different places. And another thing to add on to this is that when we are trying so hard to focus on staying on top of our leg, that we can forget to breathe. So remember to breathe, and also slowly building up your time. So maybe initially you just hold the foot here for 10 seconds until you fall in. You can set a timer and just work through these drills, taking the body further away from the midline, coming back in. And then once you feel like you have, managed to take the heels off of the floor, and you've got the strength and the stability of really working through that foot, working through that ankle, then taking foot to ankle, reaching up towards the knee, extend the leg away, out to the side, play around with where the arms are, and then you can move on to the other balances. So the other balance would be, and the other thing I forgot to mention actually, which I should have said at the very beginning of this, is that focus is extremely important. So if I am, taking my foot off, but I'm actually all over the place, I'm starting to disrupt my whole body here. So it's going to be harder for me to find myself like on top of my legs. So make sure that, say to begin with, you are going to say to yourself, right, that's the spot I'm going to keep my focus on, and I'm going to go through my drills of just taking the foot to the ankle, reaching up to the knee, lifting the knee, almost like it's going to come to the chest, extend my foot away, take my foot to the side, maybe bend the knee, maybe coming to take my leg behind me. All the while I'm keeping my focus on that one particular place, my eyes in that one spot, and I'm remembering to breathe. Adding these little markers is what's going to help you with when you start to practice more. So yeah, remember to breathe, remember to keep your focus on a particular place, and just say to yourself, today I am purely going to practice taking my heels off the ground, lowering down for 5. Now remember, you can add on higher counts. If you want to say, right, I'm going to take 10 counts to lower down, you can take 10 counts to lower down. And then you might go on to your standing onto one leg, balancing, taking the leg in all kinds of directions, and see what suddenly happens to the body where you start to compensate. If you really ground through that foot, you spread the toes of that supporting foot, so you give yourself as much of a base as possible. And you also maybe have the support of the wall. Anything else? Yeah, the other thing is these are small drills that you can actually slot within your day. So I always say to people, maybe when you're brushing your teeth, you're going to say, right, I'm going to practice balancing on one leg. When you're making a cup of tea, or you have toast in the toaster, you have these little pockets of time within your day that are empty bits of space. So if you have them, that is a whole minute waiting for the kettle to boil, where you could just be practicing that little tiny bit of balancing. So yeah, once you've gone through that, we have our heels off the ground, we have our leg reaching out once we've worked our way up the height of the leg, then we have other things we can do. So thinking about reaching on top of our supporting leg, so whichever side you're going to balance on, let's start to peel one leg off. Now we're reaching and extending through that leg. Start to flex the toes of your extended leg, engage, and then maybe you start to pour the weight forward. Now you can take the hands to the heart center here, you can reach them out to the side. Maybe to begin with, you want to take hold of a chair, or you have a book that you can find that action first. So maybe you feel stable, you take one hand off, you take another hand off, and you kind of work with the two together. And when you start to feel more confident, again, an ultimate test of your balance can be when you are moving through space. So you can draw that knee up, and then maybe you're going to come to reach that foot back away, and you're going to pour the weight back forward, almost imagining yourself like a kind of pendulum. So that's another thing that you can practice. You also have taking your leg out to the side and placing your foot maybe low down at the ankle, or maybe taking the heel up above the knee. And we're thinking about our external rotation of our hip here. So opening out through that right hand side. In my case, if you're on the opposite side, your left hand side. And again, you can have support onto the wall. You could be holding here to find what it feels like for your body, where you are in space. Maybe you take the hands to the heart center, a big breath in. Big breath out. Now keep reaching through the crown of that head, so avoiding that feeling of maybe wanting to slouch, reaching to one side. You want to give yourself as much chance as possible to lift out of that left hip. So nice and tall. Maybe you're just going to say to yourself, I am going to stay here for 5 counts of breath. So that means breathing in and breathing out. That counts as 1. You're going to do that through 5 times. Keep that foot pressing into the leg so you have active activation. If you're too loose within your intention with your legs, you're not activating your legs, then it's much, much harder for you to balance. And again, you're taking focus. Where are you choosing to focus on? And are you remembering to breathe? Yes, perfect. Now from here, we can add those other things in that we were just doing. So say you have got to this stage, you've done through the other drills that we've just talked about. Maybe you might want to think about adding these together. So you're going to come to release the leg and draw that knee, almost like it's going up to the chest. And we're going to come to extend that foot away from us, flex the toes. And now we are thinking about swooshing that leg through and folding the body forward. Perfect. Keep the focus, keep the breath, keep the legs active, and then drawing back through, pressing the foot down. And then you would go on to your other side. So again, find that balance first. Find yourself steady and grounded through your supporting side. So if you feel that wobble, then maybe you just need to stay there, or maybe that will settle, and then you can come to take your heel or your foot above or below the knee, or just resting on the ground with the heel up towards the ankle. And remember your options. There's always options. If this isn't available right now, take your hand to the wall. Try to relax. Listening to all those little signals that the body is choosing to give you. With our balance, we're constantly anchored to the present moment. We're forced to be present with ourselves because our weight is shifting. There's so many small cues that are going on within our physical body. We're remembering to breathe. And then we're layering on our intention. We're telling ourselves we're going to maybe stay here for 5 counts of breath. And if we fall out, there's no big deal. We can just come straight back to this point and try again. Maybe it doesn't happen on one particular day. Maybe that's just not our day. We can come back and do it another day. And then when you're ready, again, we're thinking about the knee coming towards that chest. And then start to push that heel back like we're going towards the back of the room. And we're reaching our weight forward. Slowly coming to reach back up. Extend our heel away and take our feet together. So those are just a few small ways that you can add more to your balancing. Maybe think of ways that you can build up balance for your body. And remembering there is all different kinds of planes of balance. So you might be better when you take your leg forward. You might be stronger when you take your leg to the side, or when you take your foot back. So explore all of those different ways, and I will do another video soon about other balances that we can do to kind of test ourselves more. Thank you so much for your time, and happy balancing.